So, good evening, sir. The topic that I report today is environmental crisis and sustainable development. Learning outcomes. Discuss the origins and manifestation of global environmental crisis. Relate everyday encounters with pollution, global warming, desertification, ozone, depletion, and many others with larger pictures of environmental degradation. And if you live in Metro Manila and travel to or to work every day, that moment you step out your home, you are already exposed to the most serious problem humanity faces today. So, in in Metro Manila, ay, in metropolitan Manila is the in metropolitan Manila and travel to or to work every day, the most you step out your home, you're already exposed to the most serious problem humanity faces. So, in Metro Manila is the national capital region and commonly called Metro Manila is the capital region and largest metropolitan area of the Philippines. The region is located on the eastern shore of Manila by between the Central Luzon and Calabarzon regions. As you walk up your gate, the fetid smell of uncollect garbage hits you. These waste are already indicated of some environmental problems. You hop on the first bus as approaches Epison de las Sos Avenue is a traffic slows of considerable. It is Manila morning traffic whereas the joke gas, the turtle can outpace the fastest of motor vehicle. So El Pipanio de los Santos Avenue, commonly referred to by its acronym EDSA, is a limited access commercial highway around Manila, the capital city of the Philippines. You look up the window and see smoke coming out diesel vehicle, and as you lift your head up to sky, you see nothing but smog, courtesy of cars, buses, coal plant, and several industrial sites located alongside the Pasig River. So, you see nothing smog. Pag mukantag smog is muna ka ng mukanog mga aso, muna yung makakuan sa atong mga pollution, usa sa makakuan sa atong pollution. In the city you live in, there is dying river, an increasingly poisonous sky, an enormous amount of waste, and declining quality of life. It is this point that you recognize ecological crisis happening around you and how to deterioration of the environment has established population and species raising spectre extinction for some and lesser quality of life to survivors and their springs. The words of leading environmental problems. So, environmental problem is deforestation, biodiversity loss, acid rain, air pollution, global warming, pollution with disposal, environmental and transportation toxins and plastic in the ground, defilling of the sea, rivers, and water beds by oil spills and acid rain, the dumping of urban waste. So, environmental and transportation is air pollution, noise, pollution, habitat, destruction, and fragmentation. Changes in global weather patterns, flash floods and extreme storms, and the spread of deserts and the surge in ocean and land temperatures are leading to a rise in sea levels as the polar ice cap melt because of the weather, plus flooding of many areas across world. So, changes global weather pattern is refer to the long-term shifts in weather condition and climate across the earth, and as global warming leads to change in weather pattern. Mo ni ang katong pagbag-o sa mga pattern sa panahon sa kalibutan. Over pollution. So over pollution is kanang na over na to sa tanang pollution bahin sa mga like smog and sa mga kabayan itong naitabo sa Pasig River. Exhaustion of the world economic non-renewable resources from oil reserves to the mineral potable water. A waste disposal catastrophe due to the excessive amount of waste. The destruction of million years of ecosystem and the loss of biodiversity, destruction of the coral reefs and massive deforestation. There's a few of the many environmental problems that our planet is facing. Man-made pollution. So, humans exacerbate natural environment problems. So, man-made pollution is most air pollution created by people taking the form of emissions from factories, cars, planes, or aerosol cans second-hand. Example: cigarettes. Example of cigarettes is also considered a pollution. This made a source of pollution called anthropogenic sources niya. Muna niyang mga example sa mga pollution, mga kwan sa pollution is cigarette, second-hand cigarette smoke is also considered a pollution nya ang una pod nga makakuan pollution is kanang mga especially kanang sa mga kuan sa central climate catching up. These massive environmental problems are difficult to resolve because governments believe that for their countries to become hopefully developed the most industrialized, urbanized, and inhabited by robust middle class with access to the best of modern facilities or amenities. A developed society, according to most all have provision for jobs, industrial sector, for sector, and food. Climate change. So, climate change encompasses global warming but refers to the broader range of changes that are happening to our planet, including racing to the shrink, mounting glacier, accelerating in melt general Antarctica and Arctic, and shifts in power plant of times. Government have environmental problems, the states and ecological concerns worldwide due to global warming which transcends national boundaries. Global warming is the result of carbon dioxide coming from coal burning power plants and transportation barriers, air pollutants, and other gases accumulating in the atmosphere. Since human-made climate change threatens the entire world, possibly the greatest presence in humankind, combating global warming. More countries are now recognizing the perils of global warming. In 1972, 1997, 192 countries signed the Kyoto Protocol to reduce greenhouse gases following the 1992 United Nations Earth Summit, which framework convention of climate change. To protocol targets to the left individual countries to determine how they will achieve those goals. Conclusion: perhaps no issue forces people to think about their role as citizens of the world that environmental degradation. Every person, regardless of his, her, race, nation, or creed, belongs to the same world. When looks up an image of the earth, she will realize that she belongs to the world and world that increasing vulnerable. In the fight against the climate change, what cannot afford to simply care about her own backyard. The CO2 emitted in country may have effects to climate of another. There's no choice but to find global solutions is global farming. Conclusion to the contemporary world, the global Filipino. So, the global Filipino from lessons 1 to 11, you have seen how you lives always to seeing how to relive how to tie global process to the global Filipino, the documented and undocumented OFWs, permanent residents of other country, former Filipinos were renounced but subsequently required Filipino citizenship. This connection have become more pronounced in recent years. Today, the Philippines economy depends largely on income from the job in global connections. First is immigration labor. In 2015, the Department of Labor and Employment reported that the number of Filipinos leaving the country to work overseas rose from 4,018 in 2010 to 6,092 in 2015, 51% increase in the span of the 2 years. In 2016, there were a total 2.4 million Filipino living and working outside of the country. Third, a second business processing outcome BPO that the Philippines provides a foreign client. Third, the source of national income is comprised of export. The Philippines export machinery, semiconductor, wood, cars, export scrap, fruits and minerals, gold and copper, ships and vehicles to Asian countries, Europe and North America. Fourth, largest source of income in tourism, which reached about billion by the end of 2016. Adding revenue, the OFW PPO earnings, the total revenue of 113.35 billion makes the Philippines 36th largest economy of the world. Finally, Filipino really have every little choice but to accept this globalized state as a country and as the people. The next step now is to make sure that imbalance from globalization benefits is corrected to allow more Filipinos to live a better life. So that's all, sir. Thank you, sir.